James Wiseman was a freshman and went to Memphis, and he was suspended by the NCAA. They appealed it. It went back to a payment that was given to his parents by Penny Hardaway when he was not associated with, or his mother rather, not associated with the school in any way, shape, or form, to move him, to relocate him from Nashville to Memphis. And then it turns out when he became the head coach, they deemed him as a booster of the school because he gave $1 million donation all that time ago. So by per NCAA rules, he's going to have to pay that money back and be suspended. Well, he's been through the first 7 games of the suspension, I think it was.
7 games into it, ended up being a 12-game suspension because we remember when he originally had this indictment come down, or had this decision come down and the suspension come down, him and Memphis fought this, and he went out there and was playing games while he was suspended by the NCAA while they were trying to fight that. And so what would have been a 10-game suspension had 2 extra games tacked onto it because he played in 2 games.
So all of this is Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. So basically, James Wiseman is now going to go play in the G League and get ready for the NBA draft, where at worst he's going to be the 3rd overall pick, it looks like, right?
Yeah, he's going to start to get ready, and I'm sure him and his team. This is a decision, so he came to this decision again 7 games into a 12-game suspension. By all accounts, this was a decision that surprised the staff at Memphis.
Right.
But he comes to this now and will likely, as I said, probably go no lower than 3rd based on where we have him now. He's a 7'1" dynamic athlete. We just saw a couple of those on display in the Bucks-Lakers game last night as far as monster athletes who can have a major effect on your game. So he's in demand.
And by the way, right now the 3rd overall pick is the Golden State Warriors. Just throwing that out there.
My God.
What's interesting with this is he's 7 games into a 12-game suspension, so it's been basically a month. Oh, and by the way, Memphis in the 7 games is 7-0.
Yeah.
But it's been about a month during that time, and now he made the decision. Like, he could be back January 12th. That would be his return date, the first game he'd come back against South Florida. But he decided, and something you mentioned, Mike, I forgot who mentioned it, but the school was surprised by this.
Yes.
We talk a lot of times about decisions for these young players of who they talk to about these decisions. And a lot of times it's a coach, and Penny Hardaway is a pretty good guy to talk to with the experience that he's had. But Wiseman did this without the school, talking to the school. And he's allowed to. I'm not saying he had to.
Let's also be clear. He may have talked to the school. He may have gotten advice from Penny and them. But in the process of making this decision, he made this at a time or at a juncture when the school is not ready. I don't want to say he didn't talk to the school because
the school said they were surprised.
They were surprised by the timing of this decision. Who knows if I'm sure there had been some conversation. Regardless, we don't know if there had been a conversation between Penny and the school or not.
And by the way, he's an 18-year-old kid. He might have really wanted to play in college. Then somebody finally said to him, "Why risk yourself with the idea of you?" Right now, at your worst case scenario is being a 3rd overall pick and making millions of dollars. So what are you doing this for? So to me, there's 2 sides to this story. First of all, this is because of the one and done rule. I mean, James Wiseman would have been drafted.
Right. And again, that's an NBA rule.
It's an NBA rule.
So you can't blame the NCAA for this one.
So that's part of it.
Right.
But I do find fault with the NCAA in the stipulations that they put on him when they suspended him, because again, they needed that $11,500. To basically survive. So it's clear that he doesn't have that kind of money. So the NCAA's logic is, and we talked about it when the suspension was come down, okay, if you want to come play for us, that money you didn't have before, you're going to need to find a way to get it before you can play. It's just so dumb. His only option is now to do this because the NCAA has put ridiculous...
Well, no, I mean, he was going to come back and play, so he was going to get that money paid back.
The NCAA, the stipulation with that payment was it had to be paid back during the course of his eligibility, so it was not a requirement for him to have that paid before he could come back and play.
I get it. I understand that, but putting a financial stipulation on a kid who has no money to begin with...
It's a ridiculous premise.
You're right, it's ridiculous, but he was going to come back and play January 12th if he wanted to stay and continue playing for Memphis, and now chose not to. I think the biggest 2 words that has changed over time, and I don't know when, I'm sure someone smarter than me could figure out when these 2 words started being used, business decision.
Yeah.
Because college was, man, you got a scholarship, you went and played sports, and it was always big business when I was there, even before me. It was business. Certainly by the time, you and your brother played there, it's been big business. But business decisions by players now. Players, you got your scholarship, you went and played, and then you either went on to the pro level at that sport or you went out and you got a job somewhere. There was rarely a business decision involved. Now, And I'm not saying it's wrong, but everything has changed. Everybody's gotten a little smarter, and players found they have a little more control when they want to make a business decision.
They do, but again, this does all come back to the one and done rule right now because these guys should be in the NBA doing this. And I was talking to Sean Farnham a lot, one of our great college basketball analysts.
Had a great take on this earlier.
And had a great take. We were talking off air, and it's true. The NCAA is fine without these one-and-done players. Like, their model is built on the backs of a tournament that's going to make money because people like chaos and people like that tournament setup.
Make money for everybody but the players in the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But I mean, the people that care about these guys being around for the product. And on this, the real ones that are affected are the schools. Like, Duke is going to be okay, but Duke was better because Zion and how big he was last year with all that. There's a direct benefit, and there's a benefit to an extent from the player side. But the dudes that are affected by this rules are also going to be okay. Like, this is coming from the NBA side in a way that feels unnecessary.
The whole thing is unnecessary.
And it's going to go away, by the way.
Yes,
the one and done is going to go away in a couple of years.
And the NCAA have been figuring some things out, or they might be going away as well.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app, and live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.